Mexico or Portugal? Mexico or Portugal? Portugal or Mexico? Portugal or Mexico? These are two places I am considering moving to. If you're new here, hi, my name is Laura. Welcome to my channel. If you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming back. This channel is for women over 50 who feel like life is passing them by, but you know what? Together, we are gonna create a beautiful second half. And today, we're gonna talk about whether that involves moving. Stick around. Now, of course, there are way more than just two places that you might consider to move abroad. People talk about moving to Ecuador and Colombia and Ghana and Zanzibar and France. I mean, it goes on and on. There are so many wonderful places. Me personally, though, I have narrowed it down to two. And these are two very popular destinations, Portugal and Mexico. And I'm really looking forward to diving deep and figuring out which one is best for me. Now, I've already done a scouting trip to Mexico. I ruled out some cities based on altitude because did you know that your blood pressure can go crazy high when you live in a high altitude city? That happened to me when I lived in Addis Ababa. So unfortunately, that had me ruling out Mexico City, which I thought was really the perfect place for me. But I did go visit Merida. I went to Playa del Carmen and I went to Isla Mujeres and Cancun. And so I'm just going to choose from those places if I choose Mexico. And I've never been to Portugal. So I need to do a scouting trip to Portugal. And in Portugal, I want to check out the Algarve, Lisbon, Porto, and then maybe some of the places between Lisbon and Porto, Nazaré, Coimbra, and I'm not sure where else. So, but let me tell you the factors that I was considering for moving abroad. Now, I've lived abroad before, but I went for a job. In most of the instances where I lived abroad, I moved for a position, so that makes it far easier. This time, I'm going to be moving just on my own, just picking up and going. And there were a few factors that I needed my future home to have. I think these are important. Maybe they're important for you as well. Number one is safety. I wanted to definitely be in a place where I'm no longer worrying about violence, this constant random acts of violence that happen here in the United States. Cost of living. The US is very expensive, so I wanted to go somewhere where I could really be saving money and I wouldn't have to feel any stress. I have to say, when I lived in the Philippines and when I lived in Ethiopia, now I was there working, I had a position, a decent salary, but in both those places I had a cook. That is a nice perk. A cook, a maid, a driver, a nanny. These are things that I could not afford in the United States. But now that I'm going on my own, I'm not gonna be able to afford those things as frequently, or maybe not all of those things. But cost of living in general is a huge factor. Another factor is weather. Now, a beach would be nice, but what I really don't want is to be cold. I always tell my friends and family, I don't want to be old and cold, walking slowly to the car, ambling to the car when you're elderly and you're just freezing. No, that is not a good look. So no, weather is a big factor. I don't mind change of seasons, but I do not want to live in any kind of frigid environment that gets heaps and heaps of snow. No. Another factor I was looking at was a community. Is there already a community there of people? Am I going to feel welcomed there? And along with community goes diversity. I want to be in a place where, again, I'm welcome. So community and diversity are other factors. Also, bilingualism. If I'm going to be living abroad, it'd be really cool to pick up a second language. Even in my old age, I'm hoping that that's something that I can do. And then finally, my last factor is ease of residency. So how quickly and easily is it to get residency in these countries? Now, Portugal and Mexico both had most of these characteristics. And again, I've never been to Portugal, but I have been to Mexico. Mexico has a lot of pluses. The cost of living is very affordable. It has a rich culture with great food. It has beautiful beaches. Spanish, I took it in the 7th grade, so I think that'll be the easiest language for me to learn. And a lot of it is safe. It does not have a good reputation, but there are certain parts of Mexico that are quite safe, safer than the United States. And the ease of residency is there. Now, Portugal, all my research has been done online. But the number one thing that came up about Portugal is how safe it is. Did you know that it is the 4th safest country in the world? I mean, that's amazing. I don't know where the United States is, but it is nowhere near the top. Probably not even in the top 25. I don't know. It's much lower down than 4. It's beautiful, right? So it has beaches, it has mountains. So it has, depending on where you live in the country, you can get the weather that you're looking for, but you don't have the frigid cold weather. It has diversity, and there's a community there already, and the cost of living is pretty low. Now, the challenges with Portugal, well, the biggest challenge is Portuguese. For whatever reason, that language seems so hard to me. Spanish is like the easiest one, and Portuguese is tricky. And then the biggest challenge of Mexico is the safety that you hear in the news all the time, and everyone's always saying, oh gosh, Mexico, Mexico. So those are 2 big things. Also with Mexico though, it's super close. It is in the same time zone as Central Time. Part of Mexico, maybe all of Mexico, is in Central Time. And it's so much closer than Portugal. So there are pros and cons to both of these countries, actually. And I'm going to go deeper into this in another video. But what do you think? Portugal or Mexico? If you had to choose between one of those countries, which one would you choose and why? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.